Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. Great to have you along, and I wish the nonsense would stop, but no, sadly. What an election, I think, in New York City. So Van Jones was on CNN. Among those raising alarm at Zoran Mamdani's rage-filled victory speech yesterday. And who is surprised by this? I'm seriously, that's what I asked myself. So Van Jones is surprised by this. But I'm not. I knew this is who the guy was. I think anybody paying attention knew who the guy was. So Van Jones says of Mamdani's speech, I think he missed an opportunity. I think the Mamdani we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing, was not present in that speech. So he was not a fan of the, as you see here, the far left rage-filled victory speech. Yeah, now that's pretty crazy. Who's surprised by that? I don't think a lot of us have been surprised by that. Speaking of jokers, let's go take a look at Hakeem Jeffries. I need some kind of name for Hakeem Jeffries. What would be suitable? I'm asking you. Please comment. Leave your comments, your thoughts. Suitable names for Hakeem Jeffries. I would love to see those. So let's take a look here. Hakeem Jeffries was on CNN, and they're talking about the shutdown, and this is just too sweet. Take a listen to this. Hold on.
What is your response to what President Trump had to say there, saying that the reason that Democrats had such a good night is because A, he wasn't on the ballot, and B, the government shutdown?
Well, Donald Trump and Republicans shut the government down and refused to reopen it. Donald Trump has spent the last 35 days more time on the golf course, more time talking to Hamas, and more time talking to the Chinese Communist Party than to Democrats on Capitol Hill, who represent half the country.
Mr. Leader, you guys are voting no on opening the government, not Republicans. I know you're asking for specific things, and it's much more complicated.
You guys are
we'll get to that in 1 second.
Hold on a second, Dana, because let's be clear about that.
Okay.
American people clearly understand who's responsible for shutting down the government.
Yeah, but you said they shut down the government.
They did shut down the government. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And Donald Trump has spent the last few days saying to Republicans in the Senate, you have the power to reopen the government. They refuse to do it.
I want to talk about
that. Is not what he is.
What is your response to what President?
I mean, seriously, that is not what President Trump has been saying. There was no bigger liar in the United States Congress than Hakeem Jeffries. And he goes out on the media and he just, the ability of these people to lie just kind of floors me. It really does. I sit back and I think, man, I could never do that. I could never just go out there and blatantly lie. And, he does it, makes it look easy, makes it look like it's just so easy to go out there and lie. It's pretty incredible. So the president also this morning, he delivered remarks at a GOP breakfast. And I want to share this for the remaining time that we have here. And I'll stop here and there. But I carried a portion of it during the radio show this morning. Didn't catch all of it. So he for a little over 15 minutes. This is President Trump. He's meeting with the Republican senators this morning. Let's get it rolling.
So as you know, we are in the midst of a disastrous Democrat-created government shutdown, and it is Democrat-created, but I don't think they're getting really the blame that they should. That's now officially the longest shutdown in American history. The Democrat radicals in the Senate have shown zero interest in reopening the government, and I don't think they'll access it. A lot of people disagree. I've been saying for the last 30 days.
I love that, Kathy.
4 or 5 different points. Yes, sir, they're going to get it right now. We should have it done in a day. I've heard that about 4 times. I heard it after Kings. They said I was a king. And I heard it after Kings. I heard it after a couple of other moments in time. And I said, no, I don't believe so. And now I heard it's after the election. I don't believe so. I think they will. I think they're kamikaze pilots. I just got back from Japan. I talked about the kamikaze pilots. I think these guys are kamikaze. They'll take down the country if they have to. So I don't think so. Millions of Americans are going to be without SNAP benefits. And I will say about SNAP benefits. So
I'm going to stop that there for just a moment. I agree with the president. I think they'll bring the country down. They will bring the country down. Showing you that clip of Hakeem Jeffries. Kathy, I love that scarecrow. If I only had a brain. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just absolutely crazy. Let's continue.
When I was president, we had $7 billion worth, and now they have many times that, because these benefits were given to anybody that asked, and they're up to, I hear, just many times, $47 billion. So it wasn't the purpose of SNAP. It was for people that really had problems, down and out, people that really had problems. But during Biden, they gave it to anybody that wanted it. I think it's something you have to talk about because the numbers are incredible. But countless public servants are now not being paid, and the air traffic control system is under increasing strain. We must get the government back open soon, and really immediately. We have to get it up. We have the hottest economy we've ever had, and it's affecting the stock market now a little bit. But the stock market, as of Friday, has hit many record highs during the.
See, and this is what we were talking about a little bit on the air this morning. It's great to see the stock market doing well. I don't know that you and I feel that, though. I don't know that you and I, when we go to get gasoline and when we go to buy groceries, I don't know that we feel the positive effects of the stock market. I'm not saying that I'm unhappy to see. I like to see companies doing well. I like to see all of that. But stock market's doing well. That doesn't necessarily translate that you and I are doing well.
Last 9 months, many. And it will again. This is just the beginning, because with these plants that are being built right now start opening up, we've never had anything like this. As a boom. There's a construction boom right now, but that's going to be bigger than that. That's going to be an economic boom as soon as they open up. And it's going to be something special. We have car companies coming in. When I was in Japan, Toyota, Mr. Toyota, I said, "What's your name?" "Toyota." I said, "Oh, you're rich." I said, "How much of the company do you own?" 92.1%. I said, "I'm glad you said the one who wants to be." I said, "You're a rich."
I love Trump's sense of humor. If you get a chance today to watch all of this, do it. Because, and you heard the portion that I shared on the air this morning, you know, the president has got a remarkable sense of humor. And I love hearing him use it. I think it's a really effective weapon. It really is. Especially, can you name a Democrat who has a sense of humor? Seriously. Who was able to roll like Trump winds up doing? I think they're just always have their teeth clenched. They're so unhappy, you know. Humor just absolutely evades them.
And he said, "I'm investing $10 billion in the U.S." And you know what I'm talking about, right? You introduced me, Mr. Senator. You introduced me originally when you
Yeah.
the ambassador to Japan. He's still good. He's still strong. But he had no interest in investing in this country. Now he's investing $10 billion as of 1 week ago in building new plants. We have auto plants coming in incredibly, but we have AI and all of them. And we can't be extorted to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into the country illegally, many from prisons, many drug dealers. A lot of people came in from mental institutions.
Yeah, giving money to. I'm going to stop that for just a moment, just so I'm not talking over the president. Giving money to people who came into the country illegally, a lot of Americans have a problem with that. This is why I support Donald Trump really enthusiastically. These are just things for a guy who is as rich as Donald Trump is, as wealthy, I should say wealthy as Donald Trump is. He understands people on Main Street. He gets it. He understands it. You know, and that's what to me is so amazing about Donald Trump.
They came in illegally. We have to get them out. We can't. No country can sustain that. That's not like an attack on our country. In no country, these are not going to be productive people. These are going to be anti-productive people. And we can all have big hearts. I have a bigger heart than anybody, but we can't let that happen. It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it.
This is one of a number of times he mentions this.
Bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3 1/4. We have 3 1/4 years, so it's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with
pretty compelling case for getting rid of the filibuster.
Voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. But can you imagine when they vote almost unanimously against voter ID? All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID. But for voting, they want no voter ID. It's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes.
Because they cheat.
If you don't get it, you'll never pass that. You'll never talk about mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots make it automatically corrupt. If you have mail-in ballots, automatically it's corrupt.
Is there anything there that's just not common sense? I mean, I listen to that everything he's bringing up. Common sense, common sense, common sense. This is stuff that should be resonating on Main Street. And then yet you see the nonsense that occurred on, you know, in the elections with Ma'am Donnie winning yesterday. I mean, versus what Donald Trump is talking about. This is why I just sit back. I'm like, this really can't be happening. What in the world is going on? This just is like upside down, you know, turning everything upside down crazy.
Correct. Even Jimmy Carter, they had the Carter Commission after he got out of office, and he had a group of very distinguished people, Democrats and Republicans, and they passed, they recommended things take place. It was a long time ago. And they said about mail-in ballots, if there is mail-in ballots, there will definitely be corruption, because, you know,
right on, Brian.
Too many hands. I mean, you go in to vote and they want your card. Even me, I went into Palm Beach. You go in to vote, they want your card, you're this, you're that. They say, I'm sorry to do this, sir, but I have to look at your identification. I said, that's all right. I love that. But, you know, you're really not going to get away with much. It was very, very professional and very good, the way it's supposed to be. But these people don't want that. They have legislation in California where it's illegal to ask somebody for voter ID. If you ask somebody for voter ID, if you're an official and you say, I'd like to see your voter ID, they can arrest you. Okay?
Can you imagine that?
They can arrest you because they want to cheat, and they get away with it. And the Republicans let them get away with it, and we won't do that if we have the filibuster. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And we're going to see if we can sway, because I know we have a lot of, not a lot, I'd say half feel this way, maybe a little bit less than half. And it's time to.
He's got a lot of opposition among senators of getting rid of that filibuster.
I wouldn't even bring it up. They're going to pass it within the first hour. If they take power, And it's more likely that they take power.
Now, I'm going to stop this here because what he's saying, I think, is spot on. This is really important. And he's saying if Democrats take power, if they take power, this is what's going to happen, and the filibuster will be gone.
Or if we don't do it, because we're not going to be passing any legislation, not going to approve anything. We're going to go 3¼ years. There won't be one bill that we're going to pass. Because the easiest thing to pass is exactly right now what they won't pass. And they'll do that, and they'll wreak havoc. But let's assume they get it. They're doing it anyway, so it wouldn't matter. They're doing it anyway. And, you know, I have a case where I have great U.S. attorneys that can't be approved because of the blue slips. The blue slips, I think you should terminate blue slips, too. It's a mental termination because it's really a custom. But if you have a Democrat senator...
I think this is where we picked him up on the air
two
this
is
morning.
Bad, but it doesn't make any difference. If you have one senator writes a negative letter on some great U.S. attorney, we had it in Manhattan, Southern District. Jay Clayton, one of the most respected lawyers in the whole country, by far, one of the most respected, and couldn't get approved. The courts approved it. The courts couldn't believe it. They did it like instantly. He went to the best schools, got the best marks, top of his class, everything was perfect. I mean, he was like lived the perfect life. Went to Sullivan and Cromwell, almost immediately became the head of Sullivan and Cromwell. You know, the most prestigious law firm, I would say.
I'm going to skip this ahead, I think, a little
bit.
bit.
Sullivan or 2 or 3, I don't know. Top students served 8 weeks and then they had to leave, but they're not going to get the approval because the Democrat, radical left lunatic senators are saying you can't, we're not going to approve you. And if we're not going to approve you, I had actually one Republican.
Oh, he's talking about all these approvals, the difficulty of being able, the blue slips. He spent a lot of time on that.
The biggest thing is the filibuster.
Here we go, filibuster.
We will pass legislation at levels you've never seen before, and it'll be impossible to beat us. By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster. And when they do the filibuster, they're going to pack the court. They want at least five justices. Now I hear it's up to 5. I actually heard up to 7 and up to 9. Okay.
Yeah.
They want new judges.
Crazy.
They want to pack the court,
on top of what we already have.
First day, maybe the week. Maybe they'll slow it down because there's no reason to rush. But they'll do it first week. They'll vote on this. And I have friends over there that are Democrats. I'm close to a lot of people. And I asked them about that because some people say, well, maybe they won't do that. I mean, they destroyed the career of Manchin and Sinema.
Yep.
And they got them out there with the only objectors. Nobody else is going to object. They're going to do it the first day. They're going to pack the court. They're going to make D.C. a state, and they're going to make Puerto Rico a state. So now they pick up 2 states. They pick up 4 senators. Okay? You think you have problems? They're going to do all of the things. They're going to pick up electoral votes. It's going to be
if that happens, the country's gone.
It's done. It's done.
I mean, it's done.
If we do what I'm saying, they'll most likely never attain power because we will have passed every single thing that you can imagine that it's good and all good for the country. And there'll be no reason to. If we don't do that, people say they're not doing much and they're in power. So the good news is we did the great big beautiful bill, and it's the greatest thing we could have done. And the smartest thing with John and our Speaker of the House, who's so good, Mike Johnson, we did all in one bill. If we didn't, John, it would be a problem because, you know, we would have gotten a small piece passed. A lot of people wanted to do that. A lot of people in the room wanted to do that. They went along with me and John and everybody, and we got this thing passed. Honestly, it's 4 years worth of goodies. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on, think of it, no tax on overtime.
See, as we were talking about the midterms this morning, these things he's talking about now, no tax on tips and all of the no tax on overtime. And you wonder if you will start to see then people responding coming up in the midterms, you know, versus just a handful of states voting yesterday. Okay, I'm going to leave that there for today because we've hit about the 20-minute mark. And I appreciate it. I'm going to ask you again, if you haven't subscribed to the Greg Belfrage Show on YouTube, I'm just having an incredibly hard time getting more subscribers. And I've said I'm willing to do this for a period of time. We've been, the 4th hour, been doing it now for about a year. And if you want to see it continue, please Ask your friends to subscribe. You get like-minded friends. If you've not subscribed, I'm going to ask you, please, 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 just subscribe. Because once your subscribers start growing, then it takes on a life of its own. So if we're going to continue to do this, I really need your support. I need you hitting the like button. I need you subscribing. If you support what I'm doing, and a lot of you are because you're here, you're watching, if you will just take the little extra effort to hit that like button and subscribe, especially on YouTube, it'll just make a world of difference. I want you to know I appreciate you all. You have made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. You've seen me showing some of their comments throughout today. Appreciate all of you. Until tomorrow, my friend, I'm underground and gone.